Hello Standard 9, welcome back to my channel. Yesterday on my class we have discussed that what is a matter, what are the types of matter. Now today we are going to discuss that how can a matter be changed from one state to another. Like we can take the example that in the solid state ice is there, which is when heated it gets converted into water, and then when water is again heated it gets converted into water vapor, isn't it? But again when we just cool water vapor it get converted into the liquid form, that is water. Then again when we cool the water, freeze the water, it get again converted into the ice. So simply this is a chaining, that solid can be converted into the liquid state, liquid can be converted into the gaseous, again gaseous into the liquid, and liquid into the solid state of matter. But why and how these states of matter are being changed? Okay, so there are generally two factors. First one is the effect of change in the temperature. What happens when the temperature is increased, means the heat is increased. We have studied in the previous classes that temperature is the degree of hotness or coldness of a body, right? Like whenever we are having fever, what is happening? A thermometer used to be taken in our mouth or in the other body parts, and then we are understanding that how much is the temperature of the body, means how much your body is being heated, isn't it? So on increasing the heat, the particles gain a huge amount of energy and suddenly it starts vibrating with a greater energy. Okay, it starts vibrating with a greater energy. Why? Because its kinetic energy used to be increased. Now what is a kinetic energy? The energy possessed by a body due to its motion is called kinetic energy. Understood? So whenever there is an increase in the kinetic energy, the particles overcome the force of attraction. Means how much is the force of attraction, it will just jump that much, that amount. Okay, and that will come into the new state which is obtained. Understood? That means if it is in the solid state, due to the increased kinetic energy of the particle in it, it will be converted into the liquid, and if it is in liquid, then it will be converted into the gaseous state of matter. Very simple. Now coming to 2 points, that what is a melting point? Melting point is that temperature. Okay, melting point is that temperature at which a solids melt to become a liquid at the atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure, pressure in the atmosphere. Okay, so it will simply take the temperature, means heat, okay, at which the solid starts to melt. Obviously if solid is melting, it will be melting into the liquid state, isn't it? So that temperature is called as the melting point. Okay, next is the boiling point. By name also we are understanding that it something will boil, isn't it? So the temperature at which a liquid stay, okay, boiling, starts boiling at the atmospheric pressure is known as its boiling point. And boiling is a bulk phenomenon. It is a bulk phenomenon, not a surface phenomenon. What is the difference between a surface phenomenon and bulk phenomenon? It will be depending upon the matter or the mass present in the given quantity. Okay, and the surface phenomenon generally depends upon how is the surface, whether closed, open, large or small. Clear? Next is the latent heat of fusion. Here also one term is the same, that is heat. And fusion, fusion means converting solid into liquid. So what is latent heat then? Latent heat of fusion, the amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of a solid. Remember, 1 kg of a solid into liquid at its melting point is called the latent heat of fusion of the solid. Clear? Coming to the next, that is latent heat of vaporization. What will vaporize? Obviously the liquid, है ना? So what is then latent heat of vaporization? The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of a liquid to vapor at atmospheric pressure. At atmospheric pressure, again, at its boiling point. Here something will boil, then only liquid will be converted into the vapor state, and in the fusion it will have the melting point when it will melt solid into liquid. Okay, so simply the heat energy required to change 1 kg of a liquid to vapor at atmospheric pressure at a boiling point is called its latent heat of vaporization, and it is generally for the liquid states. Now, what is the effect of pressure on the matter? Whenever we apply pressure, okay, the particles of matter are brought very close together. They can be brought very close together, and then the state of matter can be changed. For example, whenever carbon dioxide gases can be solidified by applying pressure and lowering the temperature. That means we have to increase the pressure, we have to lower the amount of heat, temperature. Okay. Now next is that what is interconversion of state of matter? Interconversion. Inter means in between something. Conversion means to change. So simply change of one state of matter to another state of matter is simply called as the interconversion of state of matter. Now we are going to discuss that what are the processes called for the interconversion of state of matter. We can see the diagram here that how the states of matter are being changed with different processes. At first, when solid state of matter gets converted into liquid or gaseous state of matter gets converted into solid, that is sublimation. That is simply called as sublimation. Okay. Whenever solid state of matter gets converted into liquid, it is called as fusion. And when liquid gets converted into solid, it is called as solidification. When liquid converts into gases, it is called as vaporization. And when gas is converted into the liquid is called condensation. Clear? Next we are going to discuss that what is evaporation. Okay. Simply the phenomenon of changing liquid into its vapor state at any temperature but below its boiling point is called evaporation, which is a surface phenomenon. Just now I was discussing that what is a surface phenomenon and what is a bulk phenomenon. So evaporation is a surface phenomenon. Now let us discuss that what are the factors on which the evaporation are depending upon. So if the surface area is increased, then the rate of evaporation will also increase. That means, like, if you might have observed that many of the persons at your home who used to take tea, what they are doing, they are taking the tea in their saucers, so that what will happen, that if this is the cup of tea, isn't it, and this is the saucer, plate. Okay, so I can see that the surface area for this coming out of the vapor is very less, but in case of this one, the surface area has increased and the area for the coming out of the vapor is also very much more. That means what happened, that in this it will be the heat will release in it with very high time, and this will take very less time, isn't it? That is why we are saying that if the surface area is increased, evaporation also increase. Next is, with the increase of temperature, more number of particles get enough kinetic energy to go into the vapor state. Next is if the humidity is high, the rate of evaporation decreases. Mind it, humidity, if it is high, the evaporation will be decreased. What is humidity? The amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere is called humidity. Okay. Next is that with the increase of the wind speed, the particles of water vapor move away with the wind, decreasing the amount of water vapor in the surrounding. isn't it? By lowering the humidity, the increase in the wind of side speed, the particles of water vapor moves away with the wind. Okay. Here are some questions related to this topic, that how does evaporation causes cooling? Simply, whenever we talk about evaporation, we know that it is a surface phenomenon. So if liquid is getting converted into the vapor state and it is taking place in the atmosphere, simply we are understanding the amount of heat will be less and suddenly it will produce the cooling, isn't it? Next is, why should we wear the cotton clothes in summer? Why? We should wear cotton clothes in summer because it is very porous. That means the air passage from that will be very much high, so that the evaporation, evaporation of the sweat from our body will be very much more with the help of the wind speed, which will be going into the pores of the cloth, cotton cloth. Next, why do we see the water droplets on the outer surface of a glass containing ice cold water? Again, this is evaporation. Okay, the amount of heat is coming out and then suddenly the ice is getting converted into the ice water is getting converted into the what? Vapory state. Okay. Now, till now we have discussed that what are the 3 states of matter, but in standard 9 we had to discuss 5 states of matter. So what is the 4th state of matter then? Plasma. What is the 4th state of matter? Plasma. Okay. 4th state of matter consists of the super energetic and super excited particles. It is very energetic and very excited particles. Also, why these are the excited and the super energetic particles? Because these are existing in the form of ionized gases. Clear? And what is the 5th state of matter? That is Bose-Einstein condensate, BEC. It was formed by Satyendranath Bose and Albert Einstein, and with their name only this state of matter has been given propounded. So how it is formed? This is generally formed by cooling a gas of extremely low density, than that of the normal air, about 100,000 to super low temperatures. Okay, so this was all about your chapter. For notes, you can go through the description and revise it well. Thank you.